Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Western adventure as we head to Dodge City, Kansas for an episode of Gunsmoke. This episode, starring William Conrad as Marshal Matt Dillon, was originally broadcast April 17th, 1954. What the Whiskey Drummer Heard.
Around Dodge City and in the territory on West, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
Mr. Dillon, would you mind stopping at the Alfraganza here for a minute?
Pretty early in the day, isn't it, Chester?
Oh, I don't want a drink.
No?
No, the barkeep's holding some money for me. I won a little last night, and I didn't want to put it back into the gauge.
Ah, but you want to get it now so you can put it back tonight. Is that it?
Yes, sir, I'm afraid it is.
Okay.
Mike?
Come for your money, Chester?
Yep.
Hello there, Marshal Dillon.
How are you, Mike?
Well, here you are, Chester.
3, 4, 5, 6. Thanks, Mike. Here. Buy yourself a drink.
Yeah, I sure will. See you tonight, Chester.
Sure.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I heard the bartender call you Marshal Dillon.
Well, that's right.
I got something to tell you, Marshal.
Go ahead.
It's important.
Okay.
You're going to die, Marshal.
Who are you, mister?
Wilbur Hawkins. I'm a whiskey drummer. First time I've been to Dodge, though. I've worked around St. Louis till they sent me out here. Liked it better in St. Louis. There are lots of important people there.
Wait a minute. What are you talking about?
You're going to die, Marshal. I heard them saying so.
You heard who saying so?
Well, I don't know their names. It was dark, and they weren't there long. I didn't dare say anything, or they'd have known I was listening. And then, of course, I'd never heard of you till just now, that is.
You're not making much sense, mister.
Oh, it makes sense, all right. You see, I rode the Santa Fe out here from St. Louis, and one night I was all wrapped up trying to sleep, and these two men came by and stood there in the aisle. One gave the other $300. He said it was to kill Marshal Dillon, but he didn't say where. So of course I didn't know till just now.
Is that all you know about it, Mr. Hawkins?
Yeah, that's all, Marshal. I've done my duty now, and I'll be going. Bye-bye.
Well, what do you make of that, Mr. Dillon?
I don't know, Chester.
He acts so crazy like I don't know whether to believe him or not.
No. But I suppose we'll find out soon enough.
The prisoner's sound asleep already, and it's only just got dark out, Mr. Dillon.
Well, he's got nothing else to do till Tom Smith gets here.
Is that who you're holding him for?
Well, I thought I told you, Chester.
Yeah, but Tom Smith's sheriff of Tascosa, ain't he?
Sure. Why?
I thought this fellow was wanted in Abilene.
No, they never heard of him in Abilene. That's why I wired Tom. I'm going out back for a minute, Chester. I think I left my new bridle on the hitching rail out there.
Yes, sir. Well, I better get this place swept up a little, Mr. Dillon.
That's a good idea.
Mr. Dillon?
Stay there, Chester. Stay there.
Mr. Dillon, you've been shot.
Well, I was trying to play possum, Chester. I wanted to get him to come up where I could see him.
Oh.
But he's gone now. You scared him away. He ran down the alley there.
Oh, he'll be lost in the crowd, but now... Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, it doesn't matter, Chester.
What?
He probably thinks I'm dead. So I'll just go on playing possum.
How do you mean?
Come on, let's go up to Doc's office. I'll tell you there.
What'd you say that whiskey drummer's name is, Matt?
Wilbur Hawkins, Doc, but you never heard of him. This is his first time in Dodge.
Well, do you think you'd have sense enough to have followed those two men to find out who they were?
Yeah, he was probably scared to death, Doc.
Yeah, and anyway, he kind of acts like he got hit by lightning somewhere. Even when he's standing still, he gives you the feeling that he's sort of walking sideways like a crab, if you know what I mean.
No, I don't, but I'd sure think twice before asking you to explain, Chester. Well, what is it you have in mind to do now, Matt?
Nothing, Doc.
Nothing?
No, Chester's going to do the work for a while. I'm just going to sit up here in your office and wait.
Wait? Wait for what?
Well, when Chester spreads the word around that I'm dead, whoever wants me that way is going to make his play. He'll come right out into the open and do whatever he's got planned. And then I'm going to give him a little surprise.
Oh, Mr. Dillon, that's a wonderful idea. Now, why didn't I think of that?
You better get going, Chester. I'm kind of anxious to meet this man. Him and his gunman.
Yes, sir. But only one thing. Ain't the boys likely to run a little wild when they hear you're not around to keep the lid on things?
Yeah, they might. That we'll have to take a chance.
Okay, sir. I'll get started.
Well, I kind of think Chester's right, Matt. There's a lot of men in Dodge who are just waiting for an excuse like this.
If it gets too bad, I'll just have to come to life again. Tell me something, Doc. What are you going to do to entertain me while I'm waiting up here, huh?
Say, I never thought about that. I suppose I got to feed you, too.
You'd be a mighty poor host if you didn't.
Well, how long do you figure on staying here, anyway?
I don't know, Doc, but I don't think it'll be very long. Now, you want to play a little cribbage, or would you rather fix supper first?
You're the first dead man I ever saw with an appetite. Well, I'll go get the cribbage board, but I'm making no promises about supper.
Doc, what time's it getting to be?
Let me see. It's nearly midnight, man.
Yeah.
How long are you going to wait up?
Well, till something happens, I guess. Chester will let me know.
Town seems quiet enough so far. Maybe nothing's going to happen.
They didn't try to kill me just for the fun of it, Doc.
No, I guess not, man.
All right, answer, Doc. After I get to the back room.
Maybe it's a patient.
I'll be holding a gun on him anyway.
I'm coming. Kitty, what are you doing here this time of night?
I might tell you if you ask me in, Doc.
Well, of course. Come in, Kitty.
Where's the corpse, Doc?
What's that?
The body. I expected to find him all laid out.
Oh, you mean Matt?
You, don't seem too upset about the corpse, Kitty.
Oh, all that talk didn't fool me. Just didn't make sense, Chester, running around telling everybody you've been killed.
No, why not?
I know Chester too well. If you were dead, he wouldn't be acting like that.
No, I guess he wouldn't. Where is he, anyway?
I haven't seen him for a couple of hours, but most everybody else believes it, Matt.
Now they do, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Good.
I don't know what you're up to, but I figure someone's been trying to kill you. Is that right?
Yeah? Ambush, Kitty.
That's not the way he's telling it, Matt.
Not the way who's telling it.
I never saw him before, but there's a man standing at the bar of the Texas Trail bragging about outdrawing you.
You mean he's admitting he killed me?
I kind of thought you'd like to know.
That's him, Matt. This is what you've been waiting for.
Is there anybody with him, Kitty?
No, he's alone as far as I know. Anyway, you better come to life again, Matt. There's going to be trouble if you don't.
There hasn't been any trouble yet, has there?
No, they're working themselves up to it.
Yeah. Well, maybe I better not wait any longer. But I'd like to take that gunman's employer along with me, though.
You can find out who it is, Matt. Beat it out of him.
You better come with me, Kitty, so you can point this man out.
Yeah.
And you take cover in case he wants to fight.
Any man who's coward enough to shoot you in the dark isn't going to face you now, Matt.
Yeah, maybe not, Doc, but you never know.
There he is, Matt. Tall fellow in the black hat. He's kind of drunk.
Okay, Kitty.
I was just waiting.
You wait outside while I see how he's going to behave.
Okay, Matt. Good luck.
Thanks. I'm Marshal Dillon, mister.
Oh.
Who are you?
I'm Tom Rogers. I thought you was dead, Marshal.
I changed my mind.
What do you want?
You've been bragging about shooting me.
Just talk, Marshal. I didn't mean nothing by it. I was just talking.
Mm-hmm. Kind of dangerous talk, don't you think?
Everybody said you was dead.
Well, I was waiting for you to come out of your hole, Rogers. You know, I don't like getting ambushed.
Marshal, I never even seen you before. I didn't ambush you.
All right, turn and face the bar while I take your gun. Go on.
I ain't gonna try nothing. You got the wrong man, Marshal.
Okay, you can turn around.
You can't arrest a man just for talking.
The jail's right across the street, Rogers. You lead the way.
Well, it was just talk, I tell you. You can't prove nothing.
Get going.
Well, I swear I didn't try to kill you, Marshal.
Straight ahead, Rogers. When we get there, you're going to do some more talking. I want to know who hired you.
Nobody hired me. I ain't even got a job.
Hey, Mr. Dillon, I want to Mr. Dillon, what are you doing out here? Who's this fella?
His name's Rogers, Chester. He's been bragging about shooting me.
I was just having a little fun. I ain't no gunman.
It doesn't take much of a gunman to try to ambush a man.
But I didn't do it, Marshal. I heard him talking about it, and I don't know why I started saying I'd done
Mr.
it.
Dillon?
Yeah, what, Chester?
Mr. Dillon, I was on my way up the docks. I was coming to tell you something.
Well?
I've been over to Alafraganza. I declare, I just don't understand it.
Well, say it, Chester.
Yes, sir. Well, there's a fellow over there, and he's been bragging about shooting you, too.
What?
Yes, sir, that's right. He's saying he outdrawed you and killed you. Of course, he's a little drunk.
Yeah, of course he is. So it was Rogers here till I scared him sober.
Sure, I've been drinking, Marshal. I wouldn't have talked like that if I'd been plumb sober.
Here's your gun, Rogers.
Wait, you turning me loose?
It's like you say, Rogers. You're just a big talker.
What about the fellow over at the Alafraganza?
I don't even want to see him, Chester. He'll shut up fast enough when he hears I'm still around. And you go on back to the bar, Rogers, unless the men laugh you out of town.
Yes, sir. I'm sure sorry I done it, Marshal.
All right, get going.
Sure, I'm going.
I don't know what's the matter with me, Chester, not figuring this. I might have known there'd be at least a couple of drunks wanting the reputation for having killed me.
Yes, sir. Doggone it. Now we're right back where we started from.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that whiskey drummer was lying, too.
No, you're forgetting I got shot at, Chester. And there's a man somewhere in Dodge still waiting to kill me.
April 17th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Classic Radio Theater with me, Wyatt Cox. Now more of Gunsmoke from April 17th, 1954, What the Whiskey Drummer Heard.
It wears a man down, living from day to day, waiting for a bullet in the back, and not knowing who to expect it from or when. Makes you feel kind of helpless. And before long, in spite of everything you try to do to stop it, you get kind of spooky. And you start shying at the most ordinary noise, especially if it comes from behind you. No way to stay alive, because this is the one time you need to be as calm and clear as you've ever been in your life. Well, I had a week of it, and nothing happened. Until Chester came into the office one day with a telegram from Sheriff Tom Smith at Tascosa.
I thought I'd better get right over here at this, Mr. Dillon. Might be important.
Now, you told me it was from Tom Smith, Chester.
Yes, sir. It is.
Well, if you know that, how come you don't know what the message is?
Oh, well, I didn't read it too close, Mr. Dillon. Here.
Thanks.
He's coming for his prisoner. He'll be here on the stage. Day after tomorrow, the way I figure it.
Now, anything else?
What?
Well, is that all it says here?
Yes, sir, that's all.
Well, there's just one thing you missed, Chester.
What's that?
The date it was sent. It got delayed somewhere along the line. Tom's due in today.
He is?
Yeah, what time is it?
Ooh, about noon, I guess.
Well, that stage ought to be here right now. Come on, let's go see.
All right, sir. Well, there it is, Mr. Dillon. Must pulled in just a minute ago. I don't see no passengers, though.
Well, that may be because they haven't got out yet, Chester.
Yes, sir. Here they come. Ain't that Tom Smith?
Yeah, that's him.
Who's that other fella? He looks kind of familiar.
Now, that's Wilbur Hawkins, Chester, that little whiskey drummer.
Oh, yes. Well, now, I've been wondering where he's been.
Matt Dillon.
Hello, Tom.
Hey, how are you, Matt? Hello, Chester.
Hello, Mr. Smith.
Well, I'm sure glad that trip's over. Next time I'll come horseback.
The stage is easier when you're taking a prisoner back, though.
Yeah, I guess you're right at that, Matt. And I hope you still got him. I'd hate to make this trip for nothing.
Oh, he's there. Anytime you want him.
Hey, where's Wilbur Hawkins going? Ain't he even going to say hello?
You know that little fellow?
Oh, yeah, we know him.
He told me he's staying at the Dodge house. Crazy talkingest man I ever run into. I told him, Hawkins, if you tried thinking a little first, you might make a whole lot more sense a whole lot faster.
Well, he means well, Tom.
Maybe. But he tells some mighty strange stories.
Oh, what do you mean?
Well, of course it could be true, but he told me he heard a couple of men in a bar talking about me. He didn't know who they meant till I introduced myself on the stage, and he recognized my name. Well, what are you looking like that for, man?
No. Go ahead, Tom. What did Hawkins hear?
Well, he said this one fellow was going to give the other fellow $300 to shoot me. Ain't that the darndest thing?
Yeah, that sure is.
I don't know, Matt. There's a lot of men who'd like to kill me, but I don't believe they'd be standing around talking about it that way. I kind of think he made it all up.
No, he didn't make it up, Tom. Not quite.
Huh? You know something about this? You mean someone is out to shoot me?
Yeah.
Who?
I'll tell you about it on the way over to the Dodge House. You wait here, Chester, just in case he gets past us.
All right, Chief.
He ain't gonna get past us. But I can't figure, Matt. Why Hawkins would want to kill you and me.
Now, that doesn't make much sense, Tom.
And the conclusion of Gunsmoke, April 17th, 1954, comes up next on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. But first, these messages from your favorite radio station. Classic Radio Theater family, you know our friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help everyone get the best sleep of your life. He didn't stop by just creating the best pillow. He created the best bed sheets ever. They look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep for me because, you know, I'm working like 67 hours a day. Now, Mike's offering the best deal on his Giza Dreams bed sheets ever. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. You'll never want to sleep on anything else once you slept on a set of Giza Dream sheets. A special offer for you right now. You can get a set of Giza sheets for as low as $29.98. Call 1-800-928-4715. Use the promo code Wyatt. Or go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Wyatt. It's good on anything on the website. That number again, 1-800-928-4715. Use my promo code Wyatt. Thanks for spending part of your day here with me on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox as we conclude Gunsmoke, April 17th, 1954.
Ah, here it is.
Who is it?
It's Tom Smith and Matt Dillon, Hawkins.
What are you doing here?
We want to talk to you. Open up, Hawkins. Tom, get out of the way.
Yeah. How did you know he was going to shoot, Matt?
And I just sensed it, I guess. Look, I can kick that door open with 1 foot. Then you cover me. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. I'll kill you!
You kill him, Matt?
Well, I tried not to. Hawkins.
You hit me. Now, I'm going to die.
I had to shoot Hawkins. But why did you want to kill us? Smith and me.
A lot of people want to. I hear them saying it.
Nobody said nothing. You made all that up, Hawkins.
You took a shot at me last week, didn't you, Hawkins? Didn't you?
No, Dan. I can't kill anybody now.
Why? Why did you want to, Hawkins? Tell me.
I killed other men. Important men. I told them about it first. And then I killed them.
But why, Hawkins?
I don't know. I had to. I had to do it. Die.
He's dead, Tom.
Matt, what the devil was he talking about?
I don't know. But it doesn't matter much.
I don't understand it. I never saw him before yesterday.
Now, Hawkins was a murderer, Tom. The kind that doesn't need any particular reason. Nobody'll ever know why he did what he did. Yeah, he was crazy, if you like.
Sure was crazy. You think he's done a lot of killing, Matt?
Yeah, probably. That's the most dangerous kind of man there is, Tom. A murderer with no reason at all. Innocent-looking little whiskey drummer.
Gunsmoke, under the direction of Norman Macdonnell, stars William Conrad as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal. Tonight's story was specially written for Gunsmoke by John Meston, with music composed and conducted by Rex Corey. Featured in the cast were Edgar Barrier, John Daner, and Vic Perrin. Harley Bear as Chester, Howard McNear as Doc, and Georgia Ellis as Kitty. Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke.
Any Gunsmoke with John Daner is an extra special episode. April 17th, 1954, Gunsmoke on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, Part 2 of the 5-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Shepherd Matter. This episode originally broadcast April 17th, 1956, and see if you can recognize who Dr. Shepherd is.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Dick Porter, Mr. Dollar.
Hi.
Did you check on Dr. Shepherd?
Yeah.
Do I write up his policies?
Well, that's up to you, Mr. Porter. Dr. Shepherd's life has been threatened.
What?
That's according to him. And the man who threatened his life has definite homicidal tendencies, also according to Dr. Shepherd.
Well, what do you think?
Porter, I think Dr. Shepherd's a liar.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Richard Porter, 480 Webster Boulevard, Providence, Rhode Island. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Shepherd matter. More expenses. Item 3, 26 cents. 1 bottle of aspirin for Mr. Porter. I felt he was going to need it.
I hope you aren't trying to be funny, Mr. Dollar.
I'm not, Mr. Porter. I think you've got a tough decision to make. I know that the commission on $80,000 worth of insurance would be high.
Sit down.
Oh, thanks. Mr. Porter, Dr. Shepherd told me he bought, or tried to buy, all that insurance because he thought a man named Forbes was going to kill him. He bought it, he said, to make certain his mother is well provided for. He was carrying a .32 Colt. Now, he spoke of treating Forbes' wife and of advising her that divorce would settle her health problem. Mr. Forbes didn't like that and accused Shepherd of trying to wreck his home, and, well, that's about it.
Now, what have we got?
Well, your Dr. Shepherd is either nuts or an idiot or the cleverest man alive. I don't know. I do know I believed about 1/2 of what he told me, maybe less.
Well, what reason would he have to lie?
Beats me. If someone threatened your life or mine, we'd turn to the police for help. Now, Shepherd won't do that. Insists that it would probably be hazardous in the case of his patient, Mrs. Forbes.
Well, I don't want to write up this policy if what he says is true. But I don't want to pass up the commission if it isn't true. Can you stick around town for another day or two and find out about it?
I'll do what I can, Mr. Porter. Go ahead. Have an aspirin. He had an aspirin and I had a car ride. Once again, out to the offices of Dr. Shepherd. The same things were more or less going on in the same way. His nurse, Miss Streeter, appeared as distraught as ever when she recognized me. There was a quick dabbing at the eyes, a straightening of the hair before she spoke.
Good morning, Mr. Dollar.
Hello. Like to see the doctor again.
He was calling Mr. Porter's office trying to locate you. I'll buzz him. Mr. Dollar, do you have anything to do with why Doctor's been carrying a gun?
No. That's his business.
In other words, I should mind my business.
Well, I'm being honest. I've advised him what to do on the matter.
What matter?
He'll have to explain that to you, Miss Streeter. It doesn't make much sense to me.
You can go back now.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, Mr. Dollar.
Hello, Doctor.
You were pretty insulting yesterday.
I'm sorry about that, but we both have a problem to solve. And I get paid sometimes for deliberately insulting people.
You're a strange one.
Do you want to change your story about all this?
I wish I could change it. It's still a mess, a bad mess. I thought it all out last night, and I still must hold to my original thinking. I have to place my concern for my patient, Mrs. Forbes, before anything else.
In other words, you won't call the police and tell them your life's been threatened.
No, and you're very stubborn about that part. I don't think you comprehend the situation at all.
Look, wait a minute. Let's understand each other, Doctor. If this man Forbes is all you say he is, and you say you're the expert on homicidal tendencies, then the best thing for you to do is to prefer charges against him for threatening your life and have him locked up. Now, you could do that, according to what you've told me about Mrs. Forbes and a servant in their home witnessing his threats.
I will try to explain again. I can't do that for Mrs. Forbes' sake. I just can't. She's been through a shattering ordeal. I must attempt to resolve this quietly. Now, true, I can generally anticipate a man's actions inside my office under clinical conditions, but Well, Forbes is different. That's why I tried to contact you today. Someone like you could approach Forbes and possibly persuade him to discard his ideas of violence. Probably do it in a quiet way, too. What does Mr. Porter pay you?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
I'm willing to pay you. I mean, you and I don't seem to get along very well, but I phoned Porter, and he tells me you're one of the best men in your line of business. I'll pay you to go to Paul Forbes and talk to him as I've described.
I can't figure you, Doctor.
Now, let's you and I not get into any personality arguments. Will you do this for me for your regular fee?
I was going to do it anyhow, for Mr. Porter and the fee he pays me. I just wanted to check you first. I'll do it, but I still think it's a matter for the police.
All right, let's leave it this way. You go talk to Forbes. If you think he means to kill me, then I'll call the police and prefer charges against him, patient or no patient. How's that?
That sounds a little more sensible, Doctor. I took down the home address of Paul Forbes and climbed in my rented car and drove over to his home in the gilded edge of the city. A story and a half colonial with all the trimmings. Lawns, trees, Plymouth convertible, a push-button station wagon in the garage. It was a nice warm spring day, and some flowers were blooming and smelling up the area in a very nice way. Flies buzzed, bees droned, birds sang. And I went up and pressed the doorbell. I should have gone butterfly catching or taken a plane to Spokane.
Yeah?
I'm looking for Paul Forbes. Does he live here?
Yeah, he sure does. I'm Forbes.
Mr. Forbes, my name is Johnny Dollar.
Dollar?
Yeah, and I came over to talk to you.
You get out of my way!
The front of his gun slapped against the side of my head, and I went down to my knees. A door slammed somewhere, and someone ran away. I twisted around, trying to see what it was all about. And then I managed to get to my feet in time to see Paul Forbes plunging the Plymouth out the driveway and heading I don't know where.
My goodness. What happened here? Where's Mr. Forbes? You hurt?
Yeah, I'll be...
Oh, Miss Forbes! Miss Forbes! Oh, let me help you, sir. Yeah, give me your arm.
Yeah.
We better sit you down over here.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, my goodness gracious, sir. How did this happen?
Mr. Forbes swung a gun at me.
Oh, no, sir, no, sir. Oh, no, sir. No, easy, sir. Easy.
Thanks,
Now,
thanks.
let's sit down here.
What happened here?
I'm afraid Mr. Forbes attacked this gentleman, Miss Forbes.
Call the doctor up and then go to my medicine chest and get some swabs and a pan of cold water.
Right away, ma'am.
Wait, the doctor isn't necessary. It just made me dizzy.
Your cut, it might be deep. Well, get the first aid things and some brandy, Upton.
Right away, ma'am.
This is unforgivable, just unforgivable conduct. Please, I don't know who you are. Are you a friend of Paul's?
No, I'm Johnny Dollar. I wanted to discuss with your husband something. I take it you're Mrs. Forbes.
Yes. Oh, Upton, set them right here.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. You feeling a little better, sir?
I don't know yet. Hey, let me try some of that.
Yes, certainly, sir, certainly. Here we go, sir. Easy now. Easy.
Thanks.
How does it look to you, Upton?
Well, I believe it's not too deep, Mrs. Forbes. How's it feel, Mr. Dollar?
No, I don't think it's very deep. I'll be all right in a minute.
Upton, go telephone Dr. Shepard and tell him to come over here immediately.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dollar, I can't tell you how sorry I am for this. You can bring suit against us. You can do anything you want to, Mr. Dollar. Paul's temper is just ungovernable these days. He could have killed you. He took the car and ran.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gotten into him. 2 nights ago, he attacked my personal physician, threatened to kill him. And now he's attacked you for no reason at all.
Any idea where he might have gone?
Heaven only knows. Mad. That's what he is, Mr. Dollar. He's mad.
Pauline Forbes had a right to be scared from what I'd seen of her and from what I'd seen of her husband. He was an angry man with a gun in his hand, slugging at anyone in sight. She was a distraught woman with a darkening spot underneath her right eye, and it wasn't mascara. I began to wonder who needed more looking after, Dr. Shepard, Mrs. Forbes, or Johnny Dollar.
Now, you just lie still now, sir.
Why?
I guess you kind of fainted a little bit. Is there anything I can get you, sir?
No. Just tell me about Mr. Forbes.
I beg your pardon, sir?
Look, I'm an insurance investigator. I came here today to talk to Mr. Forbes about threatening Dr. Shepard's life.
Oh, well, I wouldn't want to talk out of turn, sir. You better discuss that with Miss Forbes.
Now, just one question. Did Mr. Forbes threaten Dr. Shepard's life?
Yes, sir.
You heard him?
I did, sir. He attacked Dr. Shepard here 2 nights ago.
Did he also attack Mrs. Forbes?
Mr. Dollar, this is an unhappy house. Things have gone all wrong here these last few months. Mr. Forbes changed. Mr. Forbes, I don't know. But please don't ask me to speak up against anyone.
I'm just trying to find out the best thing to do for everybody concerned.
What can you do, sir?
Well, I didn't think anything like this had happened.
Terrible, Doctor. Terrible.
This about settles it. Now, I want you to go up to your room and lie down. There's no sense in your getting any more excited.
I want to see about Mr. Dollar first.
Oh, good morning, Doctor.
Hello, Upton. Let's have a look at this, Dollar. Get that light.
Yes, sir.
How is it?
Well, I don't think it's anything worse than a cut. How do you feel, Dollar?
Oh, an aspirin might straighten me out.
I hope so. Upton?
Yes, I'll get some, sir.
Dollar, I should have taken your advice yesterday. I'm going to take it now. I'm going to call the police and have this man arrested. He might kill somebody next time.
Yeah, am I all right?
Sit up. Dizzy?
Yeah, a little.
That'll wear off.
What'll they do to Paul?
Well, they'll take him into custody and probably talk some sense to him.
Oh, this is awful.
You go up to your room now, Mrs. Forbes. We'll handle this. Oh, Upton, take Mrs. Forbes upstairs.
Yes, sir. You just come along, Miss Forbes.
Thank you.
Yeah. She is not a well woman.
She looks all right to me.
I wish she were. I want to get an x-ray on that head. Can you come by the office this afternoon?
Yeah, I guess so.
Give me the police. I doubt if it's concussion or anything like that, but it's best to play safe.
You're a safe player all the time, aren't you, Doctor?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Now, look here. I'm not good. Hello? Yes. I want to talk to somebody about a threat on my life. My name is Shepard. Dr. Charles Shepard.
When I left him, he was reporting Paul Forbes to the police. He gave them Forbes' description and the license number of the Plymouth Forbes was driving. I didn't stay beyond that. Maybe I should have. Maybe I should never have left that house. I'm not sure, but if I hadn't left, I might have saved a life.
Now, here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's intriguing episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, well, the big lie is as true as little green apples. Join us, won't you, when I bite into one and spit out a bullet. Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by John Dawson, it is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us tomorrow night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Roy Rowan speaking.
Did you recognize the voice of Dr. Shepard? I hope you did, because you just heard him earlier in this hour. Yes, that was Parley Bear, the same guy who plays Chester on the radio Gunsmoke. He was an all-around player, and he was in a lot of things, including, by the way, he did some episodes of Lum and Abner, and I'm hoping that we can get those for you here, too. Anyway, part 2 of the 5-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Shepard Matter, from April 17th, 1956, right here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Would you do me a favor and thank this radio station and support their advertisers? It is their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite radio station. They have lots of choices, and we never forget that they chose us to come to you. Also, visit my webpage, classicradio.stream. You don't ever have to miss a show. We produce 21 hours of classic radio theater each and every week, and you can hear them all at classicradio.stream. There's also a list of podcast sites that have the shows available as well. You can also learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links, and you can buy me a copy. That helps us maintain our distribution channels and helps us to expand our collection of classic radio programs. That's at classicradio.stream, classicradio.stream. Thank you for tuning in. Tell all your friends the greatest radio shows of all time are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.